What's up, YouTube? This is your girl, Megan from the Hood Astro Queen. Welcome back to my channel, to all of my returning subscribers. However, if this is your first time joining me on Today Was Hannon, it is here that we use information from celestial bodies to help us gain a better understanding of our favorite celebrities, world events, but most importantly, our damn selves. So do me a solid, thumbs up this video, click the subscribe button to become a part of the Astro family. So I am coming to you guys yet again with another celebrity birth chart reading, this time on none other than Miss Tabitha Brown. Many of you guys know Tabitha Brown. She is an actress, but she's mostly known for her social media presence, okay? She's a renowned vegan. She has like a cooking show, and she does little videos and things like that out of her house, and she includes her family, okay? She's been in the news because as of recently, she took to social media to announce that she is now retiring her husband, Chance, who has been a police officer for upwards of 15 years. And now that she's clearly caked up, she has reached a level of notoriety, status, and success, all right? She's saying you could come up off of that. You ain't got to work no more. Thank you for supporting me. I got you. I got us. And now he's free to pursue personal dreams of his, which I believe include opening up some type of community organization or something to that effect, whatever, nonprofit. However, Wendy Williams, of course, she's doing her job. She's doing Hot Topics. She's reporting the news. And this story just so happens to come across her desk, to which she basically says, like, good luck with that. I was someone who retired my husband, or I was someone who had a husband that didn't have to work because of me, and you see how that went. And yeah, we do see how that worked out for her. However, obviously, she got a lot of backlash because Wendy didn't really take into consideration that Tabitha's husband, Chance, had already been the primary breadwinner for the family for about 15 years, or whatever the case may be. So people are angry. People are coming at Mother Wendy. And then Tabitha herself even responded with this video where she was doing like this classic church mother, humble bumble personality read, right? Where she's like, I hope love finds you, Miss Wendy. I hope it holds on tight. And so, all the girls are gagging because she read Wendy and whatever. Now, y'all know I give my personal opinion before I do these readings. My opinion is, I do think Wendy, in typical Capricorn South Node fashion, is clearly jaded. A lot of Capricorn South Nodes and North Nodes can be bitter. They can be jaded by their personal experiences and allow it to kind of permeate, their reality. Even with her being a Cancer, a lot of Cancers have a difficult time with being fully objective. But to be honest, that's like most people. Most people's opinions come from what's going on in their lives personally. So it's like, okay, I don't completely agree with Wendy. However, there's something about Miss Tabitha I can't really put my finger on. I think she does an amazing job when it comes to getting to the money. I think she, has a beautiful family. I respect her hustle. I just think there's something about her I can't really put my finger on. Maybe she's just not my cup of tea per se, but like the humble bumble church woman, hey there, it just seems extra fake, contrived, but I'm not mad at it. If that's how you do, that's how you get your money. You got your family unit, beautiful family. Okay, beautiful gowns. Do you, boo? But I did want to take a look at her natal chart just to, be nosy, because that's what we do here. So let's go ahead and look into Tabitha's natal chart, and then we'll just go from there. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So Tabitha Brown was born February 4th, 1979 in Eden, North Carolina, placing her sun at the 15th degree of Aquarius. Even with her being born on the 4th, the number 4 is ruled by Uranus. So she actually has a lot of Aquarian energy. She actually has an Aquarius stellium. So in fact, her sun is conjoined to her Mercury at the 11th degree. of Aquarius, and then her Mercury is also making an exact conjunction to her Mars, both being at that 11th degree. Okay, so one of the first things that stood out to me is that Aquarius is the sign of the social media influencer. So it is right on brand with the trajectory of Tabitha's career thus far, right? Her being this social media mogul, making all these videos, going viral, right? But also Aquarius women, Aquarius sun women specifically, are known to participate in either alternative marriages or relationships that could be built on more of a friendship more than anything else, which isn't a bad thing, right? However, those relationships could tend to run cold, especially with her sun conjoined to Mercury and Mars and Aquarius as well. So where she and Chance could absolutely have this friendship, friend first kind of relationship, but in a lot of instances, it could also be built off of convenience, or it could be kind of transactional, or where the marriage could be accented with lots of separations, right? And they could even be the type to like go very long periods of time without sex. Because that's another thing about, women with lots of Aquarius energy, especially once again with her sun and Mars being conjoined to one another in that sign, with both the sun and Mars dealing with the men in a woman's life, her husband, maybe even the father. You could look at this as, a relationship that may not necessarily be that emotionally, intimate, right? Or even sexually gratifying. But, they still tend to maintain, like I said, that very friendly, cordial kind of mutual way of relating to one another. In fact, with her sun conjoined to Mercury like that, there could be more of an emphasis placed on communication. And once again, it's really not a bad thing. So, I do get that could be a part of what has kept their marriage afloat for quite some time, because in fact, with her sun also forming a semi-square to her Venus at the 29th degree of Sagittarius, her relationship is one that needs lots of independence and freedom, which I thought was very interesting because I was watching a tarot reading on Tabitha and her marriage. Shout out to the three Hoodoo sisters, where she specified in her reading that this move, right, was going to be very monumental in Chance being able to branch out and find his own path and his own identity outside of Tabitha and her brand. And with this sun forming semi-square to that Venus at the 29th degree of Sag, it speaks to being a part of a marriage or a relationship where independence and freedom are going to be like non-negotiable. These are people who need to live their own lives. However, that Venus at the 29th degree, especially in a sign like Sag, it could create a partner who does have a tendency to stray, or where commitment could definitely be like, kind of flaky. So in other words, I'm pretty sure he's cheated before. I'm pretty sure he cheats. And that's just what it is. That number 29 does deal with third party interferences. Venus and Sagittarius in general will make it very difficult to attract and manifest partners that are going to be, monogamous or committed in a traditional sense. And when you add into the equation that Chance himself is a Sagittarius sun, so that makes a lot of sense, especially if his sun is on top of her Venus, right? Is conjoined to her Venus. Do I really have to go into like Sagittarius men? Of course, not every Sag man on the face of the planet has always cheated, but let's just be real, okay? Sagittarius men are up there when it comes to men who are not known to be super just committal and monogamous, and that's because Sagittarius is one of those signs that does not do well with restrictions, especially when we place it in a planet like the sun and we're talking about a man, right? Your entire ego is built off of being able to come and go as you please, doing what you want and that kind of thing. And whether it's sowing your royal oats and whatever the case may be, a lot of these men do tend to want variety. They need variety. right? And that has absolutely nothing to do with how they feel about you. I do feel like they really care about each other. I mean, on the more positive end, his sun being conjoined to her Venus and Sagittarius could create a very fun, bubbly relationship, lots of new experiences. They could travel a lot together. You know, they could be equally yoked as far as spirituality and religion goes. She is one of those very holy roller, religious Christian types, which makes a lot of sense when we talk about Venus and Sagittarius. A lot of these people could really enjoy gospel music and all that other good shit. However, I do believe he cheats. That just is what it is. It just is what it is. Or at least he has at some point. And with her Venus actually being contra-parallel to her Jupiter in Leo, this could even create outside children. It just is what it is. I wouldn't be surprised if he has an outside kid. And I also had the liberty of taking a look at Chance's natal chart. And this is, you can take it with a grain of salt because there's not that much information on him on the internet. But based on some of the digging that I was able to do, I deduced that he was born on December 3rd, which is also a very Sagittarius number. The number 3 is governed by Jupiter. So I just thought that was kind of interesting how she's an Aquarius, but she's born on the Aquarius day, with the Aquarius number. He's a Sagittarius, but his birth number is ruled by Sagittarius or Jupiter as well. But he was born in 1978. However, essentially they're literally just a few months apart from one another. So their natal charts actually mirror one another, which could make them twin flames of sorts, or they could just have very similar kind of trajectories. They have very, very, very similar charts. And so that Jupiter and Leo get up squaring his Venus, which happens to be at the 7th degree of Scorpio, could also create secret children, outside children, issues with child support as well. His Venus is also conjoined to Uranus at the 18th degree of Scorpio, which could also create extramarital affairs, or it can create infidelity and things of that sort. Not to mention he is a Capricorn moon, with his moon squaring Pluto at that 18th degree of Libra. Capricorn moons, that could deal with him being a police officer. Okay, or one of the placements that could deal with him being a police officer. But it could also deal with where he has a marriage that could be a lot more transactional. It can function more as a partnership. And that square that is making to Pluto can also further suggest, extramarital affairs or infidelity. Not to mention his Venus is forming an opposition to Chiron and Taurus that could create money problems. I even see that within her chart, so I'm not sure what's going on with how they, allocate their joint finances, but there could be some issues with money. And that's kind of typical when it comes to marriage, right? But, nonetheless, I just thought that was kind of interesting. They both are Pisces South nodes, okay? Both Tabitha and Chance. And so with that in mind, Pisces on the South node definitely encapsulates her acting career, her being an actress. But it could also deal with where a lot of who she presents herself to be is an act. These people could be, I don't want to say full-blown liars. They can be. I don't necessarily just intuitively, I don't think she's a full-blown liar. But my point being, this humble bumble Southern mother, church mother act. It's an act. You know what I'm saying? She's an actress. So this is a part of her brand. This is how she presents herself. And that's actually very Pisces South node. When we talk about people with Pisces on the South node, there's always going to be way, 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 way more than what meets the eye. And that's also reinforced with her Neptune squaring that Pisces South node, right? Neptune and Sagittarius. Same thing with Chance's Sagittarius Mars squaring his nodes. Issues with the truth. So both of them could have some ways about them that most of us would never really see, obviously. It could also make a person passive. It could keep people in bondage, especially when they're in really bad situations, marriages, not necessarily saying that has to apply to them. But let's say if their marriage was really horrible, we wouldn't know that because these are the type of people who will probably stay in it for a very long time. But I will say, though, as a Pisces South node, this could make her someone who's naturally born to be taken care of. So in terms of like Chance taking care of her for the first 10, 15 years of their marriage, that makes sense. But with him also being a Pisces South Node as well, I can see how there could be some difficulty there. His Saturn conjoined to his Virgo North Node, that's also a placement that could be indicative of him being a police officer. But in Tabitha's chart, this is more symbolic of, especially because it's forming a quincunx to her Mars, okay, that Aquarius Mars, where they have to learn how to, learn how to work around and figure out who's going to carry most of the responsibility within the marriage, basically. So I definitely get that, okay? Also, her Saturn conjoined to her Virgo North Node deals with her having a career that centers around wholeness and wellness, curing an illness, by way of like the foods that she eats. She may be susceptible to gastrointestinal problems and things like that. Which, with her being a vegan, this absolutely encapsulates that. A lot of these people have to learn how to turn to, once again, wholeness and wellness, and maybe modifying their diet and things like that in order to, treat illnesses or, live just a more holistic lifestyle. And with it trining her Taurus moon, that's all about her cooking, her showcasing a lot of her skills and, preparing healthy meals and all that good shit. So that's cool. It could also deal with where success for her could come a lot later in life than other people. Saturn conjoined to that North Node. Absolutely. So, like all people, Tabitha does have some good things going on in terms of her chart and some of these aspects. Her sun trining that Pluto in Libra could deal with where her relationship with Chance could be one of a business partnership as well, or where he could provide a very strong sense of support. However, I also wanted to note that Saturn in Virgos, okay, especially with it conjoined to her North Node, could create instances where one's help could be exploited. And when you add that to, that Saturn being quincunx her Mars, it creates this dynamic to where maybe Chance could have felt like his help, the way in which he's helped her, was exploited, because he has that same kind of configuration. His Saturn is conjoined to his Virgo North Node, but it could also deal with where in the event that she helps him, later down the line, it can create issues, especially in terms of like entitlement and stuff like that. So, or where those are some issues that may have already been prevalent, where they kind of have to make certain adjustments. And like I said earlier, trying to figure out who assumes more of the responsibility within the relationship and all that jazz. So, to be honest, in terms of how this move is going to play out in their relationship from a long-term standpoint, nobody really knows. That is yet to be determined. So that's another reason why I didn't understand why everybody was so gung-ho about like telling Wendy off and you a hater, Wendy, and maybe it could turn out well. But granted, either way, we'll probably never know, because they're both Pisces South Nodes. Like I said, there's a lot more than what meets the eye. They'll probably never let us know. So, we'll have no way of being able to verify it one way or another, unless a scandal comes forth, which, is also very much on brand with that Pisces South Node and whatnot. So there could be a scandal that happens in the future, just in regards to the nature of their relationship, especially if he has like a side baby. But anyway, okay, that's neither here nor there. I just want to go ahead and touch over some details concerning Miss Tabitha Brown's chart, okay? I just don't like how people buy into like this prepackaged idea of like perfection regarding marriage. And, the truth of the matter is, of course, just like you can't automatically assume a situation is all bad, you can't assume that it's perfect or all good either. It just is what it is. And typically I, tend to think Wendy Williams gets an unfair shake just because she does her job and whatever. I'm still Team Wendy, but these are just the facts, the astrological facts as I see them. Some good, some bad. It is what it is. And I'll go ahead and end the video on that note. Y'all let me know what you thought about Tabitha's chart. And yeah, make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until the next video, I holla.